Hello, hello, hello. Now I just have to add back my video name. Yeah, but this should be okay. Yeah, great. And I should be able to put myself somewhere here, and that should be okay. As you can see, a new setting, and a bit dropped frames. 0.6%. That's not bad. Okay, so this stream will be pretty fast. I will just discuss it briefly because I'm at my family, and yeah, I have better things to do. Unfortunately, unfortunately, well, hard to tell in those days. Anyways, the system is pretty simple. We have like 24 lists here. We have people who submitted it. Here I submitted 3 lists. 2 of them got accepted because I think there was enough already Warriors of the Dark Gods lists. There are supplements available which I don't know, so I will just take some guesses, take some wild guesses on what's going on. And with those 24 lists, you have 4 people per group. Each of them gets 6. You distribute those lists between the 4 of you, so each will get 6 in the end. This is just you get 6 lists, you pick one, you send it further. You get 5 lists, you pick one, you send one further. Okay, and so on. In the end, you end up with 6 lists. You have to use one list for one game. You cannot use the list for more than one game. And therefore, you need to find a good way of compositioning those lists so that you can take an optimal strategy. Like for example, I think okay, so three games for those 3 games. You have 3 lists, and then there is a cup system. So I think best 2 out of each group advance further, and then you play in a cup. And then one player, and then you have 3 games in a cup potentially, and I think this is a single elimination bracket. I'm pretty sure, but I haven't really paid much attention because I don't have that much time to take a look at it. So we'll see. And so for me, the basics is I would just describe 2 types of lists here. I don't think that there is a need to try to describe more. One is more balanced. Okay, maybe 3 times of lists, but okay. So one type of list is a list that is super aggressive, that is aimed at close combat, that doesn't have very strong ranged magic, that just wants to go and smash the opponent. The classical lists, a lot of people run those, and I think that this is problematic because I didn't look at those lists yet that much, but I'm expecting that a lot of them are in this manner, because I am expecting that people think that okay, this is a fun event, let's send fun lists in, and for them fun is just smashing the opponent. So yeah, that's not my definition of fun, but okay. So this is the first type of list, and this is I will call it for the rest video like very aggressive list. You have a second type of list that's like super shooty type of list. I want to kill you from the distance. I want to be very safe, and I want to just murder you from afar. And this is the type of list that I would never pick in my draft. I think because I think they give a bit not enough counterplay. So there is that. And the third type of list is the list that I normally use. Those are balanced lists, the lists that have decent amount of shooting, but also decent amount of counterplay in close combat. And they are aimed at winning games like 13-7 or something like this. And then the opponent messes up and you win like 17 or 20 anyway. So. But in general, what I would pick for myself is from those 6 lists, I would try to find 2 lists that are super aggressive. So one that I would probably play in the first game of the group to make sure to help myself get the 20, and the second one to finalize to save for the third game in the group, to make sure that if I am behind, then I can still try to catch up. And then all 4 other games, especially for the cup games, I would prefer the balanced lists. And yeah, 2 other things that I would pay attention to is one of the scenarios. I think this is randomized after you draft. One of the scenarios is flags. So I would like to have one of my aggressive lists be pretty independent of the flags. And then I would like to have my one of my defensive lists also to be pretty not vulnerable to the flags. Okay, so I will give some ratings. Let's say 1 to 10 rating to each list. How much I value it. Of course, I will not be very precise and accurate in this. So if you want to see me commentate on this more and maybe expand and maybe change my views, then feel free to comment with that. I don't know if you can see the list properly. I will maybe increase the size here a bit. Should be able to do that or not. Maybe like this, maybe a bit more. Yeah, that sounds better. I don't know exact setups here. I know some things from the side books, but not much. So and right off the start we have Asklandas. And okay, I know that Longship Raid combined with Hosklars is like ambush, and this is a very strong unit because I wanted to build lists like this at some point. You have two big blocks like Trolls and Asklandas. You have some faster flyers, and then Master Shamanism, Adept Thaumaturgy. And I don't know what Norse Bones do, nor Harp of Bragi, like any kind of shit like this. Great upon Asklandas, like, what is this? This is retarded. This is a super strong army book, I think, because it hasn't been properly balanced. So I will be marking the balanced lists in green, the aggressive lists in red, and the lists that are super shooty in yellow. Yeah. So this is definitely an aggressive list in my opinion. Well, maybe not that bright red because we will die here. Okay, and I can center it. Yeah, this is a bit better, although I would like to find. Okay, this is I think okay, maybe even a bit. Okay, this is good. Okay, so this is probably decently strong. The double ambush. This is the list that I could see myself playing. It has a pretty strong magic. It has those ambushers, some mobile pieces, and then you just push forward and you hope for the best. I don't know what Raven Banner is, but probably something OP. So my guess is that this is probably a 7 out of 10, maybe 6 out of 10, but not much experience with Asklandas. So let me just move forward because I don't have that much time. So like 1 minute per list. Yes. Try to keep up with that. Beast Heads, Ambush Centaurs. This is Frederick's list. So can I say something bad about it? I don't know. But yeah, this is definitely Frederick style list. A lot of ambushers and just one big block pushing forward. This is an aggressive list again, but this is in general. I don't think that this is a list that Fred would especially prepare for this kind of games. But I don't like the concept of lances in ambushers, because if you don't like, you can you can also put the feral hounds in ambush, which many people don't know. And Mongol Riders in ambush, wow, that's solid. Wizard Adept, is there a Totem Bearer anywhere? I don't see a Totem Bearer, so you have only 2 spells from. Oh yeah, there is a Totem Bearer. So okay, so we have Totem Bearer, Adept of Evocation. Wow, this is a weird list. I don't understand the concept fully, honestly, and I would not pick this list. I would not pick this list because I think that, well, it's funny, but how am I supposed to get points with that? Also, the Battle Standard Bearer in ambush instead of here. It's a bit weird, but maybe you want this BSB for all your centaurs. But yeah, you will be drunk maybe, so you will go for. So you will be ITP, so maybe Crown of Horns somewhere there, just to make sure that you pass your tests, and then the BSB should maybe be the BSB. Oh no, because he has to be general to get the hunting call, right? It's a shame. Okay, so like, I would say this list is like 4 out of 10 for me, but maybe I just don't understand it, and I definitely wouldn't pick it if I got this. This is also a bit unfortunate in this kind of event, since you have 6 lists that you go. That you put forward, like at least 2 will come back to you. So if the guy before you got like the very bad list, and he definitely didn't want it, he would be able to make sure that he can pass you this bad list. So sometimes you will end up with a very shitty list at the end, which is not great. And probably you should accept the fact that the list that you will end up with in this kind of draft is an aggressive list, because there are so many aggressive lists that maybe people just don't want to do it. So okay, there is a list that I played against a very similar list, but the guy had double FREDERICKs, and I think that this is also a list from Hebus. So that list surprised me. It seemed to me to be pretty bad, but in the end it was pretty okay. A bit changes in core, I think that those are good, and then some for Forsaken. Yeah, this is also. Is this an aggressive list? It doesn't have to be, but in general, I feel that this is definitely more of an offensive list. So we see like first 3 lists that I look at: offensive lists, aggressive lists. Not very happy with that. If I would be to pick things like, look how much shooting is in those 3 lists. Like throwing weapons, that's the most that you can get, and then like nothing here and nothing here. Ouch. Okay, this is like, again, a solid 7 out of 10 list. If I were to choose between Husklers and this list, I would still probably choose Husklers, just because in such draft events I would probably go for the army that I didn't play with. But yeah, this is still a pretty solid list. I don't like the unreliability of Forsaken ones, but still okay. Cultists, wow. So I guess, okay, I have no idea what they have. Spear and like some random stuff. Ugh. I guess those are just big killy blocks, smaller killy blocks, and then things from the demon book that I know, and then like master of what? Of occultism. Does it have extra 6-inch range? I don't even know. On KS. Again, 0 shooting. So I guess again, we just go forward. And yeah, adept thaumaturgy. This was master thaumaturgy and like master divination. Then maybe you could say that this is the list that doesn't want to go forward so much. But yeah, this just looks like just push forward and I just kill you, like every other list that we have so far. So yeah, I cannot even rank this list properly. I think it has a lot of different pieces, which I like. I like playing with the. Oh, there is a Hope Harvester. Yes, so there's some shooting. So I would say, so probably this is a bit more like a mixed list. I think I need to go with some green, because soon enough I will be out of. And you can have some range damage here. You have this Hope Harvester. So compared to any other list, then this definitely is the list that can stand back. So I would probably pick this list. I would give it a 7 out of 10 as well, because I like the ability of options, and also I would be counting on the fact that my opponent just doesn't understand what's going on, because I don't understand what's going on. So yeah, that's probably better. Okay, so for me, for now, I would definitely pick those 2 lists if I had the chance. And I would definitely focus on picking the green lists first, because I'm pretty sure that there will be very few of them. Okay, this is an attempt at the green list, definitely, because you have double repeater battery, you have hunting chariot, you have 2 times Legion auxiliaries. I don't like the fact that you have 2 times Legion auxiliaries. I don't think that this is necessary. The Thunderpacks with their current, yeah, I like this list. I don't like the witchcraft. If this didn't have witchcraft, if this had cosmology, wow, this is super cool list. If only this had, damn. If only this had cosmology, and also like any kind of weapon on the legate. What's going on? Okay, but this is a super cool list. Maybe I was a bit overshooting with those lists. Yeah. So if I said that this is 7, then probably this is 8. Oh, Divine Altar Effigy of Dread. No, this is not 8. Man, if this was a normal Divine Altar, wow. Why do you need it? Why do you need the, like, Eye of the Gorgon plus Fear? Maybe. I don't know. But the normal Divine Altar here would be excellent. And also I would like to have at least one, like double Gorgon is probably unnecessary. But it's a super cool list. I would say again 7 out of 10. Why am I so maybe I need to change the scale a bit. 7 here, 7 here. This is oh man. So maybe again 7 here, 7 here, 6 here, 4 here, and then the top one. I still kind of feel like 7. Okay, so let's just move forward. Bretonia. Mixed Bretonia with Forlorn Knights, but no reliquary. It's extremely weird. Double Castellan with Bannerman that go into the Peasant Levy. Hippogriff, dude. I don't like this list. Master of Druidism. It has some Scorpion, but it has Druidism, so you have some Peasant Bowman. It has a lot of different tools, but there are brigands as well. So also an attempt. So maybe I was wrong. Maybe I was overestimating the amount of aggressive lists that we will see. Okay, Paladin. This is on foot Paladin. What? And then there is also on foot Paladin. What a strange list this is. Knight Aspirants. Like one block. What a strange list this is. Like I'm trying to classify those lists on how much would I like to play against them. I don't like the fact that there is only a single Hippogriff that doesn't have the Tabard as well. Tabard with Druidism would be really nice, and he's not very strong with Hero Heart. Like the build with Blessed Inscription is better, so I would probably give this list a 5 out of 10. That is really weird, and I would be scared to play against this because I understand that you have a lot of combat resolution on your Peasant Levy and so on, but I don't know. A very weird list, definitely. Okay, this is my list, so I will not rank it. This is definitely a list that is less about shooting, but more about just fleeing from the opponent. The opponent doesn't see you. You just put some shooting into him, and then you have some blocks that can deal with it. You have the king, you have the Runic Smith. The king is supposed to either run into the rangers if needed, or into the Greybouts. In the Greybouts, the readiness rune, so you can be like 2 by 13, and then you can shrink, and then you have like double Relentless Company just to have some kind of chaff. You have the Grudge Busters and King's Guard to improve combat a bit. Yeah, in general, a list that's like okay. A lot of my deployments is a lot of my deployment goes after the normal sequence because I have scout, I have ambush, I have vanguard, and my both heroes have the kinship rune. So in the end, yeah. And with the Rune of Mastery, the idea is to be able to guarantee the magical movement, so that, for example, the Greybouts can make sure that they will get their throwing weapons off. So yeah, I think that this is a decent attempt at dwarves, and at some point I might even try it, but we will see. Okay, demons. Scourge, Cortesian, so a very nice option. Probably the Cortesian Master is the only sensible way because he will have a chance to get the 18 inches. Okay, and those are lists that for example, Guuran, although I don't like the fact that instead of the classical garbage bin that you get here, so like six different units, you get like very few units, and I would prefer to have 5 holders with the standout and +1 CR than 6 holders. So not really my type of list. Also an aggressive list, definitely. I would say that this is like a 6 out of 10. Only 1 chaff. I don't like this concept, although in one sense this is very nice list because this is a good list for the flags. So if I was missing the list for the flags, I would definitely not oppose taking this. Empire's garbage, obviously, but let's take a look at this list. Okay, so some support, so the guy at least seems to have an idea what's going on, but he has only 1 parent unit, and this parent unit is crap, so I don't know. Double Great Griffon, what? like 1300 points in heroes that don't do much. Don't like this. The core is okay. Some griffons are not bad, but I still prefer the halberd ones. And then as many, yeah. This is not a good list. This is an attempt at the balanced list, but also, why do you need so many orders? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 orders. Why do you need the great tactician here? Like, really, you didn't have points to spend on anything else. It's just weird. And the household standard, so this heavy infantry is prepared to do nothing, because it's prepared to hold the general and to just add an extra 6-inch range to him. So I don't know. I would say that this is a 4 out of 10 list at best. I would probably not go below 4 and above 7 unless I see something very, very good or very, very bad. Okay, Highborn Elves. Wizard Master Pyromancy with Asphalt Scholar. That's interesting. With the new attribute, that's a clever concept that I was thinking about, but I was like, okay, does anyone really run this? Huh. Apparently, yes. There is a Master of Candrake Tower as well. There's a Commander on Eagle, 225. That's supposed to be like a heavy chaff, I guess. Basil Infusion, expensive chaff. I don't know. It's very hard to believe that you didn't. Okay, in the general on Griffon, I don't like this, and the setup here is pretty bad. The setup that Fury uses is much better than the Nova Flare. Just changes too much. There are some Highborn Lancers to support the Griffon, I guess. The Commander probably is also there to support the Griffon. Yeah, I don't like this list. It's also an attempt at a bit more balanced list, but I don't like this list. It's probably around 5 out of 10 for me, something like this. I just don't see any fireworks here. More Highborn Elves, Ancient Dragon, Master of Candrake Tower, and then what is this? This is definitely more of a okay, Cosmology Mage. Okay, so I can dig with that, but again, this is not a list. I wanted to say that this is a list that I would like to play for flags, but it has 2x10 Lion Gods, so not really. I don't like this. This is a 5 out of 10 for me, and again, I just don't really dig it. And like, nice that you have the healing for your Ancient Dragon, but you don't even have a Phoenix to cover for him, if anything. So yeah, and everything's fine. Really, everything's kind of fine except for core. Like, if the core was a standard build with like Sea God and then a lane reverse and then more Sea Guard or some small spears, then I would be definitely a fan of this list. But with this core, I just don't understand it. Maybe it's like advanced 6. It I don't know. Or at least get rid of one of the blocks and then put some chaff in. Would be my guess, because the River Chariot, yeah. Maybe this is, I said 5 maybe this is 6 out of 10 actually. This is not such a bad list. Yeah, 6 out, and the Gleaming Robe on the mage is like, maybe it's 5 out of 10. Like, come on. Just protect your mage better. Don't put him in combat and then you don't need the Gleaming Robe. Okay, Infernal Dwarfs. Vassals. Okay, so this is definitely a cool list that is supposed to be a climatic one, but yeah. Does he have any? No. Okay, this is like a 3 out of 10. I would never take this list, like, unless I was forced. I would be really annoyed if the guy on my left would get this list, because then I would most likely get it. I don't like this list, definitely. And also 4, 4, 8, 9. Just get it out of my face. Okay. Giant. This I understand. This is like some kind of small monster, I guess. Mammoth is I guess the mammoth. There is the guy. Yeah. Wasteland Behemoth, Wizard Master Thaumaturgy. Wasteland Behemoth. Okay, I have no idea what's going on here. There is some cav. There are some bows. Looks definitely much more like an offensive list though, because this is like the barbarians again. Double wasteland behemoth, I guess they don't fly. I don't know if this army can take the BSB, but there is no BSB here. And usually the barbarians are not that great at leadership thingy. So I don't know. I would 100% put it in the... Okay, so that's like 3 out of 10. I would not take this. Like too much work. It just doesn't give me the right vibes. But maybe it's a good list. Like that, it has 3 monsters apparently, and then a lot of chaff. So I don't know. But I think taking that many units of chaff is a waste, especially because probably 8 of them is core, and also probably like 5 of the wolves really easily die. So. Okay, let's take a look at some orcs and goblins, and this is offensive list. There are no Madgits, which is weird. Does Banner of Relentless Company work for chariots? Interesting concept for chariots, and then we but with the new wording of the Banner of the Relentless Company, where the heroes cannot leave the unit, this makes no sense, because then you cannot put your chariots in other spots. But yeah, this is again like a 3 out of 10 list. I would not like to play it. Who made it? Okay, some American guy who I don't really know. Yeah, definitely. If I faced such list, I would be more than happy to face it, because I just don't see it. Okay, Ogre Khans, Double Hunter, Master Shamanism. Offensive list. Okay, so this is a list. So that's a list that you want to pick. That's a list that's like by Borcha, pretty much, surely. Am I right? Yes, I am right. This is like his list. Rock Aurochs General without healing. That's a weird one. But in general, his lists are cool, and he gets good scores with it. So at least here, I know that this list gets good scores. So yeah, I would take this list. Even though I don't like some concepts of it, like the Mammoth with like not much to support. Maybe the maybe the Tribesmen a bit, maybe the Hunters a bit. Yeah, maybe the Giant. Yeah, that's definitely and the Yetis. Yeah, so that's that. Okay, I dig it. 635 for those Tuskers is also not that much. So I definitely like it. Yeah, that's a 7 or maybe even 8 out of 10, definitely. Okay, and this is the super aggressive list with triple Varkolak and with Strigois. I wanted to build, like, I love the Strigoi climate. I would probably put at least 1 Shrieking Horror here. For example, instead of the Great Bats and 1 Varkolak, but put 1 Shrieking Horror, and maybe I don't know if you really need those Necromancer General. Maybe you can just base your game around healings and around creating new units and around annoying the opponent with Shamanism. But yeah, this seems cool. This is Bestial Bulk for Rending Banner and Banner of Speed for the Gusts. That's interesting. That's a cool concept as well. I would say that this is probably just because the Strigoi concept just doesn't work. I would probably say this is around 5 out of 10. Yeah, let's say 5 out of 10. Especially because, like Gus will be a bit behind because of Vanguard. In general, after Vanguards, if you are playing against an aggressive list, which is like, I think still most of the list that we have here, then those Vanguards are not that useful. Okay, Vermin Swarm. Witchcraft Wizard Master Witchcraft. What? Not a fan of this. Vermin Hulk Bodyguard. Does he have Hulks? He has 12 Hulks. Okay, so this is a cool list for the. This is a cool list for the flags. I don't like the fact that there is no cannon, there is no catapult. I would at least have 1 cannon in this. I like the gutter blades, but gutter blades with throwing weapons and with no scout, that's weird. I think the concept is kind of okay-ish, but Secrets of the Doomblade. but I don't like the. Okay, so this is definitely a mixed list. I don't like the concept. I really don't dig the total concept. So I would say that this is like 5. Okay. Also, Banner of the Endless Swarm on Ratatalams that don't have spears is weird, because those guys just like you get 12 extra attacks with strength 3 AP 0 or something like, and even 16 extra attacks with strength 3 AP 0. It doesn't matter that much. So yeah, that's like 5 out of 10 probably for me. This looks kind of similar to list. No, okay. I was going to say that maybe something that Icar ran in his group, because he also I think had the Doomblade, but I'm not sure. He had just a Tyrant on Litter. No, but he had a better setup with he had some Dreadmills at least. So yeah, there's that. So and this is fun. Well, 5 is probably a bit too generous. This is 4 or maybe even 3. Probably 4 out of 10. I'm just adding some points because I like the fact that there is some shooting in a list, which is not always the case. Okay, Madgits, and there is like 1,000 things, and you have leadership 9 general. Okay, 80 Nasher heads. Those Nasher heads are expensive. I like the idea of 30 Nasher heads, but this one. Okay, and this is again an offensive list, but it just doesn't seem to have that much essence. The Giants with Wrecking Balls, like, okay, this is a funny list because it has 3, 6, 8 random movers, 9, 10, 11, 12. This is probably the max of the random movers that you can get, but still, not a cup of the. I would say that's just a 3 out of 10. Okay, some Warriors of the Dark Gods, 4492. Man, just do something with that. I hate it. Like 4497 or more. 4496 is also acceptable, but very roughly. There is a chosen guy on the Wasteland Dragon, but you have even no giant to cover for him, so that's a minus. You have Feldrax, but you don't have the. Oh, you have Exalted Herald. Okay, so that's fine. Dark Prelate here, a bit heavy on the magic side, which I like in the Warriors, so that's good. Last Warriors, Forsworn, Forsworn, Feldrax, Battle Shrine. A pretty solid list. I think that I would consider this a bit more balanced list because it has a very good amount of ranged magic with Master of Alchemy and with Exalted Herald. So I would say that this is probably a 6 or 7 out of 10 for me. So far, no list seemed to very much impress me, but this is a list that I could definitely dig in, that list that I could definitely play, so that's fine. Damnation and Forsworn, very, very cool. Okay, Saurians, Quad Lord, Protean Potentate. I don't believe in this Protean Potentate guy. I don't know why. I just don't believe it. And the Saurians in core. Okay, how can I classify this list? Like, is it a mixed list really? It has pretty much no shooting. It has some ranged magic, but +2 to cast, Scepter of Power, Stygioza. Okay, Stygioza with Mystic Travel. Okay, so Tyroscutus is +1 channel, so yeah, that's a very heavy on the magic side. So if I consider this Warriors to be that way, then I probably need to consider the Saurians also to be that way, and I would say that this is like 3 out of 10 for me because the core doesn't make that much sense. Like, I would probably never pick this list because even the Caimans don't fit my concept, but okay, I might pick this list because of the flags and so on. So yeah, I don't like it. I definitely don't. Okay, and this is a much more normal list for the Saurians. Again, Protean Potentate, which is weird. A lot of skin captains with a lot of stuff. I don't know. I think that this is a bit too much. I would say that this is a yellow list, first yellow list that we've seen. So the list that has basically no combat. Like Taurosaur is the only piece that can fight, and even those skinks, they don't have the Scrocs inside. So yeah, that's a very, very shitty list that just wants to avoid it. So I would definitely never pick this list to play. Never. And that's like It's not a bad list. That's probably like 4 out of 10 or 3 out of 10, because I think this concept can be done much better. Like what Crusader did was just much better. But yeah, this I definitely don't like. Who made this list? Travis. Name Travis. Okay, and this is again my list. And this is a Beast Heads list that's aimed at being all-around list, because it has double Cyclops, it has Centaur Chieftain, that has the Hawthorne Kunz that is supposed to just run around and do random stuff and shoot random stuff and so on. But you have also double Chariot. The setup, I don't really get why you don't get to see those Beast Chieftains anymore, but I like him. I like this guy. Oh, where am I? No. Yeah, and he's a totem bearer as well, and then I have druidism just because I want to heal my Gorta, heal my Jabberwock. I have some ambushes here. This is a decent list for the flags. It has 4 scoring units. That's okay. It has some chaff. I think that this is just a good all-around list for the Beast Heads, and this is mainly built by Furion, and then I had some of my remarks added to it. So I don't know if I can call it really my list, because I think that the concept in general is more of a Furion concept, but then I tweaked some things to fit the concept even more, I think, and I think he was satisfied with it. So yeah, there is that. I don't like the wild horns though in core as a big block, so I would just prefer to have mongrels, because mongrels with strength 4 AP 3 can at least try to do something in the first round. Okay, some Sylvan Elves. Archers, fighting, dragon, tree father, yeah. Wild hunters, I like the wild hunters. There is some shooting. That's definitely a mixed list. I think this concept can be done a bit better, but in general this is a very solid list. I would say like 6 out of 10. If I didn't have a choice, I would probably pick it, but I don't like the Sylvan Elves that much. But anyway, this is a cool list. This is definitely a cool list, a nice list to play. Let's move a bit further. This is the upcoming list. Is the last list. Okay, and we have Barrow Legion. Interesting. So is everything Barrow Legion here? Yeah. Everything's Barrow Legion, but some things just don't show up to be Barrow Legion. Double Catapult. I haven't seen catapults in such a long. And Casket. Cosmology Master. Interesting. Okay, I would pick it. I would put it as a green one, and I would say that this is a decent list. Although I would probably personally don't play it. I would say this is like 6 out of 10 as well. Okay, so in the end, no list really said to me, yeah, this is the list that I 100% want to play. But there are many solid lists. There are some interesting lists. Let's see how many green lists did we count? 1, 2, 3. Okay, and for some reason I picked this with the wrong color. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Okay, 13. So more green lists than red lists. Okay, so now my plan of picking 4 green lists and 2 red lists doesn't seem that foolish, I think. So yeah, definitely one of your lists will be a bad list, because your last list will remain the last list, and I would probably use this last list. So I would probably focus on having like 3, maybe even 4-1 if I could. So 4 balanced lists and 2 more aggressive lists, and one more aggressive list, because the last list I would like to use in my matchup against the opponent that I know that is the weakest, which is probably a smart thing to do. Okay guys, I have to finish for now because I have to finish, and I will try to put this on YouTube. Hope you enjoyed it, and let's try to follow how does the league go? How does it follow further? Cheers, see you around.